It's time for the Lowell Green Show, originating live on BlastTheRadio.com. Ask your smart speaker to play Blast the Radio. Live video available on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Email Lowell at BlastTheRadio.com. The number to call or text is 613-413-2217. And now, telling it like it is, here's Lowell Green.
Thank you, John. Well, I think most of us could use some good news, and I thought we got some pretty good news yesterday from Doug Ford. I don't know about you.
Yep.
A real light at the end of a terribly long tunnel. Now, it's a light. It's not the end of the tunnel yet, but golf courses, many outdoor activities relaunch tomorrow, thank goodness. More openings in the weeks to come. All laid out in what I think is a very interesting and somewhat challenging 3-step plan.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be very interesting, John.
I agree.
A plan which not only gives us some hope, gives us some stability, some goals to shoot for, some stability, but it places a tremendous burden on the anti-vaxxers. This is going to be very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The clever part, at least I think it's very clever, the clever part of the plan is that we open things up in the province in a direct correlation to the number of people who get vaccinated. This is all three of the steps are directly related to the number of people, percentage of people who have been vaccinated. This is very novel, and I think a great idea. For example, step one, when 60% of us have one dose of vaccine, 20% of us have both shots. Now, the 60% shouldn't be that difficult because I think in the province now we're at about 50% with one shot. Unfortunately, we have lagged so badly behind in the second shot. I think it's going to be a real challenge to get 20% of us with the second shot. What it means is that in all probability, we won't be able to vaccinate nearly as many people as we have for the first shot, because I mean, this is hard for some people to understand. If you are giving 2 shots, the first shot and then 21 days or 4 months or whatever it is after, then obviously you can't give as many first shots because you have to vaccinate 2 people, okay, just to get one new one. If I'm confusing you, please. Step 2, more openings. When we reach another vaccination plateau, I won't go into the numbers, they're kind of confusing, but just suffice to say that each one of these steps that opens more and more things that are open, are directly correlated to the percentage of people who have been vaccinated. Vaccinated first shot and vaccinated the second shot. And step 3, when even more of us not only have 1 shot, but 2 shots. Because don't forget, you aren't vaccinated until you've had both shots. The 1 shot is not a vaccination. It's you need the booster shot in order to be vaccinated. So some people, and it could be that some of you who are listening right now, watching, think that we should be opening sooner. I've heard from people like that. Other people think that we're opening too soon. So somewhere in the middle, maybe he's hit it pretty well right. But as the health authorities across the country have discovered, you know what? If you open too soon with these new, very vicious and highly transferable infectious mutations, we'll be caught in wave 4. So they're being very, very cautious this time because let's face it, and Ford got heavily criticized. We opened up probably too soon the last time, and as a consequence, when you relax the regulations, some people take advantage of it, and as a consequence, you know what happened. Our hospitals were jammed, ICUs are jammed, et cetera, So we had to clamp down again. They don't want to go through that again, nor do you or I. So they're being very cautious on this. And by the way, excuse me, I've heard complaints, well, we should be opening the splash pads. Well, maybe, I don't know what the reasoning is there. It seems a small complaint, but maybe they should. But the schools is a different situation. You can see that Doug Ford is very conflicted when it comes to opening the schools. There are some doctors, Dr. Williams included, who think that we could be opening the schools now. I mean, they've only about a month of schooling left. But other doctors, apparently, in the science panel are saying, no, let's not do it. And one of the things, and Doug Ford mentioned this several times yesterday, is that he is being told by some doctors that if we do open the schools, we send kids back to the schools, that it will create an 11% uptick in infections. And you could see that Doug Ford is very reluctant to do that. The jury is still out, and I was on Rob Snow's show this morning, and I agreed with Rob that one of the problems here is that Ford should probably make up his mind and make an announcement. Either we're going back or we're not. In Nova Scotia, they've made the decision you're not going back this year, not until fall. But this is the reason, folks. I mean, I know that some of you say, oh, well, we should be back, we should be doing this and that. But when that happens, we get caught again, and then you're mad. People are upset. Oh, we got to shut down again. Well, the reason we got to shut down is because the infection rate soars. And one of the things in that regard that Doug Ford talked about yesterday again was once again highly critical of the Prime Minister, and with good reason, pointing out, and in fact, he pointed out more than once, that these highly infectious new mutations continue to pour into Canada through our airports and the land border crossings, with very little, if any, testing being done. Now, Bill Blair, who is a liar, he is a liar supreme. I think that Bill Blair invented lying. He does it so well. He sits there. You can tell when Bill Blair is lying. It's when his lips move, okay? And the Trudeau is not much. There's all kinds of security. But Brian Lilly did the research on this, one of the few reporters who isn't too lazy to do research these days. And he found that, in fact, and these are using Health Canada's own figures, that only 16% of the people entering Canada through the land borders and through the airports, only 16% of any kind of testing and quarantine, only 16%. And as Ford said yesterday, this is the reason that these mutations, they have come in from other countries, obviously. They didn't spring up in Sudbury. They didn't swim here. They came in the airports. They came through the land borders, which are still wide open. So, but in the meantime, and Ford made this clear, look, the Prime Minister refuses to do anything about this. He still continues to, well, he didn't, Ford would never say he's lying, but the implication is clear. He refuses to stop the importation of these mutations, etc. So in the meantime, we've got to continue to be extremely careful. Wear your mask, keep your distance, wash your hands, etc., etc., etc. Use your freaking head, okay? And in addition to that, and most importantly, get vaccinated. Now, let me just say something here. With this new plan, it is clear to me that for whatever reason, except perhaps medical, if you still refuse to get vaccinated, you are a friggin', I call you the leper of society, okay? You're a terrible human being. You know what? Tens of thousands of young men, and in some cases young women, marched off to defend liberty, to defend their family, to fight for what they felt was right. Many of them really didn't want to go, but they had a sense of duty. And if we're going to talk about a sense of duty, I remember that the royal family, even though their lives were at risk, they were trying to bomb Buckingham Castle. They stayed there. Why? Out of a sense of duty. So all we're asking people now is, look, if you don't want to get vaccinated yourself, you think it's all a hoax, do it for your family. Do it for your neighbor. Do it for your friend. God damn it, do it for mankind. We need you to get vaccinated so that we can get out of this, God bless it, this pandemic. The more people who become vaccinated, the sooner we can open up the stores. People can get back to a decent life. We can open the freaking splash pads. Try to save that. Try to save it. Rob Snow this morning said, try to say splash pads 5 times. You can't do it. Anyway, we'll open that. But it's up. Don't give me your excuse that, oh, well, it's this, that. And some people still trying to discourage others. Do your duty. You don't want to do it? Tough beans. You know what? If it indicates to me, if you won't take about half an hour out of your freaking life to go and get a vaccine, you won't lift a freaking finger for your fellow human being. You are a disgraceful human being. I don't care what you say. You are a leper. And anybody that I am in contact with who refuses to get vaccinated, you will lose all the respect I ever had. And I will call you names because that's what you are. You are a traitor to mankind. We need everybody to we want to get out of this. And not only to open businesses, but to save lives. If you don't give a sweet flying fox fart about your own life, how about your neighbor? How about the senior citizen up the road? Do it for him. Tens of thousands of young men marched off to fight and die for you. And you won't lift a finger for mankind? Screw you. That's what I say to those who won't still refuse to get vaccinated. We need you. Step up to the plate. And if you do, if you overcome your objections, you will be my hero, or whatever that means, okay? I just, John, you were saying this morning, I won't use names, but you're still contacting people, or people contacting you saying, trying to urge people, don't get vaccinated, et cetera, et cetera. What a sorry excuse for a human being these people are. They don't give a damn about anybody else. It's total selfishness. No, me, I don't want to get a vaccine. I don't. It's too difficult to get there. I don't like a needle or whatever the hell it is. Get the vaccine, okay? Do it for humankind. Do it out of a sense of responsibility to the community. If you care about anybody else, get vaccinated. There, that's my lecture. Surely it's not too much to ask, okay? Unbelievable. Don't be a leper, because that's what you'll be. You'll be a leper if you don't get vaccinated. Get vaccinated and help us. Be a hero. Be a hero. Be a good guy. Okay, a good woman. Help us get out of this horrible pandemic, okay? And by the way, in this regard, about people who are fighting masks and vaccines, has anybody heard from Randy Hillier lately? Where is Randy? Anybody have any idea where Randy Hillier is now? Is Randy Hillier still going to go out there and pitch? I'd love to hear from them. John, we've got some response here. Please, let's hear.
Yes, you do. On both sides, by the way, so get ready. Here it comes. By the way, we'd love some calls today or texts, 613-413-2217. If I see your comment on Facebook, I will give it a like. That lets you know that it's on my list to try and get to Lowell. Peter says, three-step plan, what a blankety-blank joke. And he goes on to say, love you, Lowell, but the plan is nothing but crap. It's really great if you play golf, tennis, but when you are stuck inside 23 and a half hours a day, pretty damn depressing. If you don't end up with COVID, you end up with severe depression. Ask the guy who was going to jump off the roof in Ottawa yesterday.
What a stupid comment. That is just a stupid comment. What do you expect us to do? Just open up again and have our hospitals all jammed and let thousands of people die? That is a stupid comment. It's, you know what? It may not be fast enough for you. And you may be right. Maybe we could speed it up, but you know what's happened before. Come on. This is a very serious thing. These new mutations are killing people. They're killing the economy. We all know that. We've all gone through. You're not the only one suffering out there, Peter. Grow up. Go ahead.
Glenn says, step 3 leaves too much discretion up to the government. 70 to 80% too afraid to state a real number. Ann says, 10 million shortage of vaccines in June, going the wrong way. Doug says, shite or get off the pot. He's talking about, Doug Ford and his indecision or decision to regarding schools. Lisa says, Bill Blair does not even answer emails. And Kathy says, wow, Lowell, I'm not a leper, nor am I a disgrace. Some of the comments on your Facebook right now.
Good. Well, I hear you people say, and I understand that's a legitimate complaint. Well, we should do it sooner. But what would you do if you've got all the medical profession, the doctors, the scientists, the people that you are paying in order to give you this advice? They all give you this advice. Look, we can't open too soon. We're going to go into wave 4. These new mutations are deadly serious. So what is Doug Ford supposed to do? What is any premier supposed to do? Just turn your thumbs down to all of the advice you're getting? I mean, why do you have doctors? Why do you have scientists giving you this advice if you're not going to take it? So you would prefer to have one politician with no medical understanding whatsoever, no medical training whatsoever. You want him to overrule, 100, 200 doctors 1 million doctors? Is that what you want them to do? You really think that would be a smart thing to do? To have a politician with absolutely no medical training making the decision? We have a science panel here. These people are supposed to be experts in this, in infectious diseases, et cetera, et cetera. They are the ones who are advising. Their advice is go slow. In fact, some of the advice we're getting from them is don't open at all. But Ford has taken a step here and said, no, we can do this if we can get vaccinated. The reason he's talking about vaccination, we know from, excuse me, from other experiences that the more people who are vaccinated, the lower the rate of infection. Have a look at the UK, have a look at Israel, have a look at Chile, have a look at the United States and see what happens. When you vaccinate more people, the more people you vaccinate, the lower the infection rate, the sooner you can open. So if you want, honest to God, folks, I hear you. If you want a politician with no medical training to overrule a decision made by a science panel, most of the doctors in the country, if you want one politician to overrule this, you better tell me that, because it doesn't make any sense to me. Yes, John.
Kathy does follow up. She says, I'm not anti-vaccine. I have my own personal reasons for waiting. How about a sponsor mention, Lowell?
Yes, Shields. You're talking about duty and responsibilities. Shields is one of those family-run businesses. They understand their responsibility. The responsibility to run an honest, above-board business that gives good value. Honest, good value. And they've always done that. Since 1947, when they started. The grandfather started, then the father, and now the son. Good, honest value. That's to be honest with you, I mean, and you know it, that's the only way you're going to survive. If you've survived since 1947 in Ottawa and the Valley, where everybody knows everybody, you don't think that they're doing a good job? You're damn right they're doing a good job. If you give them a chance, you'll see why. Shields, SCHEELS.ca. It's a good website, a great website. You'll see all of the product that's there, all of the appliances, the prices, and the sale prices. You can save some money right now at Shields. Yes, John.
All is quiet right now. I just, you referenced, some of the stuff that I.
So you people are going to sit out there and you're going to let me take shit? And you're not going to come to. You all agree with people who say
no,
that.
I agree with you.
Oh, okay. Well, you.
I don't always.
This is
I
what
don't
gets me.
always.
Okay, so you're going to. I don't care. You know what? I've got thick skin out here.
Yeah. No, it's pretty
right now.
It's pretty quiet on this, and I can't believe it. Yep.
If you aren't going to get a vaccine, I don't care what the reason, unless it's a medical reason, a legitimate medical reason, you are a societal leper. You are a sorry excuse for a human being. You won't lift a finger to help mankind. You won't lift a finger to get us out of this pandemic. That's what I think of you. And you can call me all the names you want. I don't give a sweet damn. Yes, John.
Gene says, I agree with you. Donna says, I agree with you. And Barry texts to say, Lowell, everyone who can get vaccinated should, because even if the governments don't impose vaccine passports, the airlines are making vaccination mandatory to fly. And I think many businesses who have large amounts of people present will do it to make public events safer for everyone and to satisfy liability laws or regulations. I agree with that. And the person that I saw this morning is a local event organizer railing against vaccines. His livelihood depends on getting events back out into the city, and he's against the vaccines. That makes no sense.
A lot of it doesn't make any sense.
Crazy.
I agree with what Barry's saying, but I think the main reason that you should get a vaccine is that this helps your fellow man.
Yes.
Very clearly. I mean, it's made very clear. The sooner we can get people vaccinated, the sooner we can get out of this. The step 3, each one of the steps depends entirely upon the percentage of people who have been vaccinated. So do it, even though you don't want to, even though you don't agree with it. Do it for your fellow man. Just as generations before, tens of thousands of young men marched off to defend your rights because they felt that it was a sense of duty. They did it for mankind. We're not asking you to risk your life. Well, you may think you're risking your life, but you're not. I mean, the figures are very clear there. But I mean, if we can ask young men to march off to their death to fight a vicious enemy, why can't you go and get a vaccine? Why? Why? Because you don't care about your fellow human beings? You're more selfish. You're more concerned about your own sensibilities. Well, and I read something on Facebook someplace where, pregnant, whatever the hell it is. Get the vaccine. Be a human being. Join the human race. Now, on the, go ahead, John, you got some more?
We absolutely do. Let me see here. We got Nina saying, whoa, lol, back off. That's an unfair assumption and will create a stigma because
Kiss my ass. Unfair assumption, nothing. I don't care what you say. Unless you have a legitimate medical reason, if you now refuse to get a vaccine, you're a sorry human being. Sorry. Go ahead.
I will move on then. Ann says, we all want this to end, lol, and vaccines are the only way out of it. Glenn says, do you think that during World War II, if we had all these anti-everything people, we would have ever pulled together and beat the enemy? The enemy now is COVID-19, of course.
Absolutely. On the still on the issue of vaccines, but from a different perspective. Here is a prime example of a very lazy, biased media at work. Headlines everywhere this morning. Canada outstripping the U.S. in vaccines, or words to that effect, okay? This is an outrageous misrepresentation of the facts, an outrageous example of bias, lazy reporting, and outright lying. It is true that during the past few days, Canada appears to be administering a few more vaccine first shots on a per capita basis than the United States. But that's only half the story. Because in the United States, they don't wait 4 months there for the second shot. Everyone gets their second shot 21, 28 days later. So every time the U.S. administers a first shot, it is at the same time administering a second shot to somebody else. So when the United States reports figures about, 100 people first shots, 100 people at the same time got a second shot. So the 100 people are actually 200 people. So the media here is saying, oh, well, we're ahead of the United States in the first shot. Yeah, because we're not giving the second shot. Look, over 40% of Americans now have the second shot. They are fully vaccinated. Over 60% have the first dose in the United States. About 40% have the second dose. In Canada, less than 4% of us have the second dose. Less than 4% of us are fully vaccinated. So the media, and don't forget that the better that they can make Trudeau look, the better much of the media likes it, okay? And so say, oh, God, we're beating the United States. Hold it. While the United States is handing out 2 shots, we're handing out 1. We're only handing out the first. But when the United States is handing out or administering the first, they're also administering another person the second shot. The misrepresentation here is, as a journalist all of my life, this just drives me nuts. If I had some of these reporters now, honest to God, I'm in the mood, I'd just take their neck and I'd wring it. Wring it. Unbelievable. Yes, John, you've got some more comments here?
Yes, we do. By the way, the phone number again, 613-413-2217. Terry says, how could you live with yourself if you gave it to someone else and they died? Tim says...
Some people have.
I know.
Some people have. I mean, we know, for example, in fact, I have personal experience, I'll tell you right now, that people have died in some of the long-term care because workers refused to get vaccinated. Workers went in, they were infected, they infected other people who died. This is still happening to a degree in this province right now. Selfish bastards refuse to get vaccinated for God knows what reason, but they're quite prepared to go in and infect other people. That's the kind of selfishness that's going on. And you're mad at me? Oh. Go ahead, John.
Tim says, I agree with you, Lowell. I would go out and get my second shot right now instead of waiting until August. It's up to Trudeau to provide the vaccine. I'm all ready to get it. Lowell, an email from Lisa says, I tell you, if it were possible, I'd have gotten my second vaccine by now. I wish to hell they'd open it up to everyone to get the second shot. It's the only thing holding a lot of us back at this point.
Very true.
Yep. Andre says, I agree too. If you don't get the vax, you will be rewarded with the tube, unfortunately. All who got the vax will only be carriers now. Anna says, my cardiologist was so happy that I got vaccinated. And Nina, who you took issue with moments ago, says, well, that's nice, Lowell. What happened to you? We'll listen to everyone. Bullshit to you, too, but I still respect you for your thoughts and your comments.
But I don't respect you if you're not going to get a vaccine. You won't lift a finger to help your fellow mankind. Then as far as I'm concerned, I don't want to hear from you, okay? But if on the other hand, you decide to do the right thing, The same thing as tens of thousands of young men did in 2 world wars. Do the right thing. Live up to your responsibility. Help us get out of the damn pandemic. You can help us get out. Get vaccine. Okay? I mean, it's as simple as that. The plan is there. The reason that they're saying that it's tied to vaccines is we know the more people who get vaccinated, the lower the infection rate, the sooner we can open up. The evidence is there. It is everywhere. Look around the world. See what's happening in the UK. Spain is now opening up. Many other European countries are now opening up. The United States is almost fully open. Why? Because they got vaccinated early and they're getting the second dose. That's why, folks. All they're saying is we got to do the same. If you want to get out of the pandemic, get vaccinated. It's not a big deal. Millions and millions of people, and in fact, 20 million people in Canada have been vaccinated so far. Come on. All right. Now, we're running a little short of time here. On this business of the United States administering more doses than the outrageous lie that's making the rounds, here are some facts. What really matters is the total number of doses, first and second shots, administered in each country per 100 people, okay? So that's the key. That tells us who's doing what. Here, the UK is administering 86 shots for every 100 people. That is first and second. So for every 100 people in the UK, right now, they have already administered 86 shots for every 100. The United States is right behind, 84 shots per 100. Canada, 53 shots per 100 people. We're at about half the rate of the UK. In fact, we're far less than half of Israel. Chile has done extremely well. Many other countries, Bahrain, we're way behind. I repeat, fully 40% of Americans are fully vaccinated. Nearly 60% have at least one shot. Here in Canada, less than 4% of us are fully vaccinated. That means that about 96% of Canadians, after 5 months, still are not fully vaccinated. It's quite astonishing. And I just also want to remind you of this, and then we'll get to Centennial Glass. Folks, people are forgetting this. To provide 2 shots for 30 million Canadians, there's almost 40 million people in this country, but let's say we need to vaccinate 30 million. To provide 2 shots for 30 million means what? Means we've got to have 60 million vaccination doses, right? Well, now we are more than 5 months into it. How many doses have we administered? Not quite 20 million. We aren't quite 1/3 through. Folks, we're 5 months in. We still have 2/3 of the population not vaccinated yet. We need 60 million. So far, we've administered 20. Do the math. At any rate, thank you all. I know that I've really ticked off some of you. Too bad. Maybe it's time that somebody challenged some of these people out there. You've got these firmly held beliefs picked up off, God knows, Google someplace. But please, be a hero. You know what? Those of you who really don't want to do this, who really may be afraid and do it, you're the heroes out there. It's easy if you believe in it. It's easy to get the shot. It's much more difficult. But do the difficult. Lots of people have done difficult things for you in the past. Centennial Glass. One of the things that you're not going to find difficult is dealing with Centennial Glass. Believe me, these are people who know what they're doing, highly professional. Price is very, very reasonable, and their warranty, and I just checked this out, they boast openly that they have the best warranty of all of their workmanship and product in the market. Centennial Glass, whether it's a big job, if it's glass, custom-made furniture, glass banisters, patios, windows, doors, screens, big jobs, small jobs, nobody beats Centennial Glass. Industrial Avenue here in Ottawa and in Renfrew. John.
6 comments to close out the show.
Fire away.
Mike
Fire
says
away.
people in India would love the vaccine. Nancy says the vaccine gave me more energy. I felt that way too, Nancy. Eric says I had a discussion the other day and made it clear that if you're not vaccinated, you are not welcome at my table. Kim says I tell people off all the time and they call me callous. I tell them they are selfish. I am a nurse. People need a wake-up call. Lisa says if Trudeau hadn't have farted around months ago pandering to China, we wouldn't be in a third lockdown. And Kathy says people have also died after receiving both vaccines.
Yes, they have. We don't know the cause. Very few. Don't forget, over 20 million people, 200 million people have been vaccinated around the world. 20 million people have been vaccinated in Canada. And there may have been a death or two. I don't know. It's one of the things you've got to realize is that it takes, they say 10 days, perhaps 2 weeks for this to kick in. So if you come down with COVID, within a week after getting the vaccine, you may become seriously ill. But the incidence is so small, it's almost insignificant. You know what? See, this is what bothers me. So you'll find people will go and they'll look at 200, 300, 400 million vaccines, and they'll find 3 people who apparently died. And this is the big thing for them. How about the 300, 400 million people who didn't die, whose lives were saved? Come on, folks. Get vaccinated. Stop making excuses. We need you to get vaccinated. Be the hero. Thank you. We'll be back on Tuesday. John, thank you very much.
Lowell Green, live on blasttheradio.com. Show info and links at blasttheradio.com/Lowell Green. Can't join us live? Subscribe to the Lowell Green podcast. Available on Apple, Google, Spotify, and more. Or ask your smart speaker to play the Lowell Green podcast. Join us live weekdays at 2 p.m. Eastern on blasttheradio.com.